Rock 95, little Motorhead at the noon hour. It is Spence doing some extra duty today. Joining me is Kyle Pfeiffer from Blacklite District. How you doing, sir?
I am good, sir. Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Well, we had to bring you back because we talked to you, I don't know, a month or two ago, right? Something like
Yep,
that.
yep, just a month or two for sure.
But got to get out of here. Now you've got the new album that just dropped over the weekend on Friday.
Yes, sir. New Year's Eve, the 31st of December, I dropped my new album, 1990. I'm so excited. You know, the day it came out, and it still is the number one featured album on the iTunes Rock homepage, which is an awesome feat in itself. Top 100 on the charts already. Which again is a great early sign. And then, of course, the single "Gotta Get Out of Here." I don't know if you followed up with the charts over the break, but yeah, man, on the mainstream rock indicator chart, it went up to number 12, which is my highest charting on that one. And then, of course, on the secondary foundations, up to number 6. And yeah, man, it's just crazy. The animated video has been trending all weekend on YouTube, about 600,000 views on the new Minecraft video. And yes, the album is out. So I'm just so excited, man.
The video is outstanding. Tell me about what went into doing that. Because the effects and stuff are really neat.
Yeah, like the Minecraft videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so about I don't know, 4 years ago or so, when I was coming up, my grandfather, he would invest in me a little bit within reason, like when you're coming up, maybe early days of radio and touring, because it's hard, man. It's a tough business. I mean, it takes a lot of money to get just the basicness, just to get the gear for a band. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of money that comes in that it takes to start. So I was fortunate to have that. And then a year or two into that, he was starting to say, you know what, Kyle, like, of course I love you and I want to support you, but it doesn't make any sense to put all this big type of money in when there's really no return on it. And I understood. It was like, yeah, I mean, I get it. And it sucks because it does take so much money. And when you put it into certain things, you're not guaranteed to get something out of it, right? It's a risk, of course. So basically my funding was cut off and I felt like, okay, my back is against the wall. How can I get my music in front of as many people as possible without having a big budget to go with? That was the hardest part. But again, back against the wall being the key words here, it was like, man, there again, I started seeing the Minecraft videos, the anime videos, the people who take movies and turn them into 3-minute music videos, and all these different crazy things they do online now, And I reached out to this guy, Raina Mater, who's still my partner today, and he had happened to have heard of me from a couple of these other anime videos I did. So we partner up. First video we put out does about 1 million in the first week, which at the time for me was like amazing. We did the second video about 3 weeks later, and that did about 3.5 million the first week and started trending on YouTube. Again, mind blown. And from that point on, we started doing a video every 3-4 months. We've done one the last couple of years. I think we're at about 10 videos now over the last 3 years. And man, I'll tell you what, Spence, from all of that action, you start seeing all of these kids come over to like Spotify or YouTube or whatever the case may be. And now it's like Spotify and my music pages themselves are like the highest revenue and getting all the traffic. And so really, I was just able to use these things to get my music in front of an audience that I probably would have never have even heard of me had I not done it. And it's been a complete blessing and amazing. So.
Well, that's fantastic, and I love this new album. I spent a bunch of time over the weekend listening to 1990. It just listening to the content and listening to the lyrics. A lot of this songs, it's got to be kind of a personal journey and a little therapy involved with this entire record for you.
100%, man. So almost 2 days from now will be 1 year exactly. So January 5th, 2021, I basically confessed to my wife that I had been in this opiate addiction for the last 10 months to a year. Long story short, a few years prior, I was in the hospital from pancreatitis, which is due to drinking. I mean, I was drinking like a half gallon of whiskey a day, even home by myself, constantly drinking, get the pancreatitis. So basically your pancreas inflames and the enzymes start burning themselves and you get like 3rd-degree burns on your pancreas. And it was very painful. And that happened 3 times. And every time they'd say, listen, you got to stop drinking. You're done drinking. You don't understand. And then every time they would also give me a bigger opiate prescription and bigger prescriptions because it was painful for a little bit. So basically, my brain took that as one to another. So I couldn't drink anymore. But here I am with these pills. again, that turned into it. It took on a life of its own, and there I was addicted to this fentanyl. I'm sure you've heard about it in the news. I mean, fentanyl is like in everything nowadays, and no joke, bro. I mean, I was going through 40 pills a day at this time last year, spending about $15,000 a month, 500 a week. I mean, ridiculous. Believe me, when I say it now, it's like, oh my god, like, come
Wow.
on, you know. But yeah, man, it was a bad time. Checked into rehab. You know, I was suffering through the withdrawals for weeks and weeks. Got home, did the counseling, did the therapy, broke my hip at the start of the summer. So that was its own whole other thing, you know, that had to involve opiates right away. And I told them, look, I'm a recovering addict. That was the whole thing. I ended up they actually overdosed me on fentanyl in the hospital the first night because they were trying to get me paid. I mean,
Lord.
dude, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So to wrap that up, you know, it's just like, I knew I wanted to go back to record with Brett Hessla, who produced the album. And of course, he was the bass player for Creed and the singer of Dark New Day and a bunch of bands. And I worked with him about 10 years ago. And again, from the rehab, getting sober, doing all the therapy, breaking my hip, having to relearn all this stuff. Again, man, I think, you know, getting sober was the thing that really took my influence back to the heavy side. You know, the last few years I've really been, you know, intoxicated, for lack of a better word, and my judgment has been off. So it just felt good. 1990 was a total therapy for me. And yeah, I always tell everyone I drove 2,600 miles with a broken hip to record it.
Good
So
Lord. Yeah, there's some really good songs and there's standout songs that are all really good.
thank you, man.
Tell me about Room 23, though. I got a feeling that might be something really special to you, that track there.
Yeah, you know, so I named the album 1990 because that's the year I was born. And because I had, you know, recently gotten sober, changed my life, I wanted to look at this album as kind of a reset for me as an artist, you know, going back to the hard rock, really not caring so much about, oh, does this sound mainstream with hip hop beats? I kind of said something like that last time, you know, but it was just about making badass rock and roll. And for this song, my cousin Tyler came down to the studio with me and Brett, and this was our plan from day one. And I had a few demos, and I had he picked out the one that ended up being Room 23, because, you know, when we were teenagers, he would come here and write with me and, you know, jam when we were kids, basically. So we thought it'd be cool to be like, yo, like, I basically have a real career doing this now. Have you come into the studio with a big platinum producer, like, get to live our dream like when we were kids, you know? So he and I wrote Room 23 together. And that came because my grandfather used to own a hotel right outside of Sturgis, where the motorcycle rally is, Tony's Motel. And he and I would spend our summers there. And early on, of, you know, maybe sneaking some cigarettes or some beers, we always stayed in this room. It was number 23. And that was like always our thing, like, dude, let's go to Room 23 tonight. So that was the initial idea. And then again, you know, when you get in the studio, these songs almost take on a life of their own. And it was really going to be about just how we kind of looked at our childhood and stuff like that. But then it turned into this whole thing of Room 23. You know, the chorus says, no more pain, no more misery, no more trying to find you. Take your blame, take your everything, and close the door behind you. So really the song ended up about being, you know, you can look at it from a few perspectives here. I look at it like, when he says, I always say he, even though it's me, he says, close the door behind you. Like, you're telling everybody to get out of this little room. It's almost like the jail cell that you rent. Like, you're there because you want to be there, even though you know it's not good for you. It's like this room where, like, get out because you want to be there and indulge in your own, I guess, like, you know, misery or something like that. But yeah, there's many different meanings, but yeah, it's definitely very strong and very personal. I wish I could get in like a little more exact, but yeah, all perspective, you know.
Yeah, it's really good. And the other one, and they're all really good again, but I really like the closing song, Thank You, on this record too.
You'd be so surprised, man. I guess I'm surprised because everyone I talk to that's listened to this record says something about that last song, Thank You. And I tell my wife all the time, like, at first, when we finished the song, I didn't even know if I wanted to put it on the album. I really didn't like it at first. I thought it was, you know, compared to the other stuff, it was really off pace compared to the rest of it. At first, we had more hip hop sounding drums, and I was just like, man, I don't know. So we went in the last day. I was like, listen, let's put the real drums on. Let's change it up a little bit. I still, even till last week, was like, yeah, it's decent. But to see the reaction from the fans just shows how wrong I was, you know, and that just shows me that it's not always one person's vision that is right, because I might not like something that everyone else seems to like. And Thank You was just kind of a song I wrote kind of like for my wife and my son and the fans. just for really all of them, you know, specifically my family, dealing with all the, you know, BS I put them through in 2021, and my wife for just being there for me when she's had every reason and every opportunity to just, you know, like leave. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
look, I've been far from the best husband and best family man because I'm so obsessed with the music, but I try my best, and thank you was a thank you to her and my son.
Well, I
So
think that message comes through, and I think we've all been through things like that in our life, and people have helped us. And it's okay to say, you know what, I screwed up, but and then thank you for staying there and staying with me and get me through it. So
absolutely.
great stuff.
Absolutely. And that really that goes out to anybody that has ever, you know, maybe gotten a bad vibe from me. Look, really at the end of the day, what it comes down to, Spence, is I'm just a passionate guy. Like I would literally I live and I would die for this music. That's how serious I take this. That's not just a saying, you know. Like this music is everything to me, along again with my wife and family. So if anyone's ever gotten that bad vibe from me, you know, I apologize. I'm just a passionate guy and I'm just here to make something happen. So what can you do? You know?
Well, Kyle, we thank you so much for your time. We encourage people to, and it's available everywhere. The album, they can get it on Apple Music and all over the place where they can download and stuff. They can find more information about you.
Yes, sir. And I should throw in, I did, this is the first time in many years I did a CD of this. I just sold out of every CD during the pre-order. I'm doing autograph CDs. They will be back in stock. You can go to blacklightdistrict.net if you want a hard copy signed. And like you said, streaming on all the platforms, iTunes, Spotify, all that. And I will be on tour in 2022, and I'm hoping to come through Mankato, man.
Well, thanks for your time. Thank you for being so open, and we wish you all the best in 2022. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you later this spring or summer.
Appreciate you, Spence.
Let's fire it up. This is Blacklite District, and got to get out of here.